Good morning, children. Taking our lessons forward to Module 4, today we are going to learn about negative sentences. Look at these two sentences on the screen. You were complaining. I was not playing an instrument. Now, I'm sure you remember we had studied about the 4 different kinds of sentences in Module 2. So, can you tell me what kinds of sentences these are? Yes, I'm sure you have guessed correctly. These are all examples of assertive sentences. Now, look at the first sentence again carefully. You were complaining. Now, this sentence tells you something positive because it affirms something. That is, it declares an idea to be true. On the contrary, if you look at the next sentence, I was not playing an instrument. This sentence negates an idea. That is, it tells you that something is false. So, assertive sentence, which is also called declarative sentence, can be of 2 types. It's categorized into affirmative, that is the sentence which tells you something is true, and negative, which tells you that something is false. Now, negative sentences are usually formed by adding words like no and not in sentences. However, you cannot just abruptly use these words into a sentence to make it negative. You have to abide by certain rules. You have to follow some principles. Let us see what those rules are. First one, sentences with the main verb to be are made negative by placing the word not after the main verb. Okay, now before I go on to explain the examples, let me remind you that main verbs are the words which talk about the main action of a sentence. They are the verbs which tell you about the main action of a sentence. For example, if I say I play or you read, in these sentences the main verbs are play and read. Okay, coming back to the example given here, suppose I give you a sentence like this: I am happy, and I ask you to change it into negative. What do? First, you spot the main verb in the sentence, which is am. See, it is stated in bold. Am is the main verb here. So, in order to change it into negative, you introduce the negative word not immediately after the main verb am. Hence, you get the sentence, I am not happy. Take another example. She is happy. Now, if you are to change this sentence into negative, again, you look at the main verb. In this case, the main verb is. And you introduce the word not immediately after the main verb is to make it negative. The resultant sentence is, she is not happy. Likewise, you can make other negative sentences like they are not happy, we are not happy, and so on. Before going on to the next principle, I would like to remind you that the be verb has different forms based on the number and the person of the subject. The be verb can be of different forms like is, am, are, was, or were. Next, sentences with the main verb to have is made into negative by placing do not or does not or did not before the main verb. Yes, children, please note that the arrangement of the verbs and the negative words is very important in a negative sentence. Look at the examples given here. She does not have a car. See how does not is placed right before the main verb have. Similarly, we have other sentences. We do not have a car. He did not have a car. They did not have a car. Also, please note that does and do are used only in cases of present tense, and the verb did can be applied when you are talking about something in the past. Another important thing is that you cannot use double past tense in a sentence. For example, you cannot say he did not had a car. That would be absolutely wrong. You have to say he did not have a car. You cannot say they did not had a car. You must say they did not have a car. Now all these sentences where have is the main verb can be written in another form. Like she does not have a car can be rewritten as she has no car. We do not have a car can be written as we have no car. Similarly, he did not have a car can also be written as he had no car, or they did not have a car can also be written as they had no car. Now look at this one. Principle 3. Sentences with verbs other than to be as the main verb can be made into negative by placing do not or does not or did not before them. Alright, see here the main verb is something other than the to be verb. Alright, look at the examples below. Here all the main verbs are highlighted in bold: know, help, play and read. Yes, the principle given here is quite similar to the previous one. You have to add do not or does not before the main verb. I do not know him. So you are introducing do not just before the main verb know. Likewise, you have other examples given here. She does not help her brother. Alex does not play with us. They do not read many books. Coming to the fourth rule, sentences containing auxiliary verbs are made into negative by placing not after the auxiliaries. Now, what are auxiliary verbs? They are the helping verbs. They are verbs which support the main verb. Now, suppose I give you a sentence, you will be happy. Which is the main verb here? Be is the main verb here, and the auxiliary verb is will. So in order to change a sentence like this into negative, you must introduce the negative word not right after the auxiliary verb will. So you get the negative sentence, you will not be happy. Let's consider the next sentence. Now suppose I tell you to turn this sentence into negative. I have seen him. So what do? First you find out the verbs and segregate them into main verb and auxiliary verb. So here the main verb is seen and the auxiliary verb is have. Now by introducing the word not just after the auxiliary verb have, you can frame the negative sentence, I have not seen him. Likewise, you have the last two examples here. He is not writing a letter. They were not taking a walk. Okay, now you can have sentences where more than one auxiliary verb is present. For example, you should have done this. Here, done is the main verb. Should and have are both auxiliary verbs. So what do you do in such cases? You introduce the negative word not right after the first auxiliary verb. In other words, the negative word should be present in between the two auxiliary verbs. For example, you should not have done this. He has not been coming to school since Friday. Note how the negative word is placed in between the two auxiliary verbs. Yes, so far we have looked at sentences which are made into negative by adding words like no and not. Now there are few other words which can also be used instead of these two words for framing negative sentences. For example, never, none, or nothing. Look at the sentences given here. He never tells a lie. None of them was present. I know nothing about this matter. So these are negative sentences without the words no or not. We are using never, none, and nothing instead. Now, so far we have looked at examples of negative sentences which are assertive in nature. But remember, you can also form negative sentences which are imperative if you begin the sentences with do not. Some examples are given here for you. Do not run in the sun. Do not quarrel with others. Do not tell a lie. So these sentences are imperative because they denote some kind of a command, and at the same time they are negative. So we have come to the end of our lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. For further clarification, please go through the study material. More examples are given over there. And till the time we meet, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.